Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now this video I had lined up for me to start looking at these front seats and give them a bit of a refresh, but I don't know if you can hear in the background, I've been out for a bit of a drive this morning and I've got some extra ticking sounds which I started to worry about, but now I think it might be a bit of a pop in the exhaust. If we go round the back of the car and lift this up, I'll get the microphone. Kind of feel as though it's going to be coming from the exhaust, and I'm hoping it's going to be fairly straightforward. So yeah, so it's back in the garage, get it up on stands, and let's see if the exhaust has got a bit of a leak on it. Along the back there, we've got the manifold attached to the rear head, and I felt as though the blowing noise was coming from cylinder 4. Having a root around in there, it seems that the nut securing the manifold to the head was very loose, and the second one was not the tightest. It wasn't loose at that point, but it wasn't tight. So I've tightened it all up. So let's give it a go and fire it up and see if it really was just as simple as that. Now there's definitely smoke coming from this area, and actually we can see it. It's definitely coming from around. Oh, right, there are actually two nuts on there. So let's give the other side a go. So looking again just now, there was a second set of nuts, which makes sense. And frustratingly, the top ones seem to be 12 millimeters, the bottom 13. I don't know, go figure. I did pull off some gunk whilst I was in there, so it looks like somebody's put in some sort of paste, or actually looks more like sealant. So I'm hoping that doing these up is going to do the trick. If not, I might have to loosen and remove the whole section of exhaust, which I don't think it is just a manifold. It does actually go round and join into the back box by the looks of it, and clean it all up and redo it. So I'm kind of hoping that this is going to be it. So let's give it a go and try it. But before I do that, I'm just going to have a cup of tea that my son made me. So cheers. Okay, well unfortunately not. I think we've still got that same noise now. Now there's no better way of figuring out if you resolved an issue than with a test drive, or it's just an excuse to take the car out for a drive. Either way, I've tightened up all those nuts on that manifold, but I don't think that was quite enough. It's still popping slightly, so I think what I'm going to have to do is order up a new gasket and remove the manifold. Maybe at the same time I might just give the exhaust a bit of a refresh as well. So for now, let's get back to what I was supposed to be doing and see if we have any more luck with these front seats. So it's finally time to have a look at these front seats. Now the driver's side is worse than the passenger side, but it's the passenger side that I'm going to start with. Now I've removed the seat. It was fairly simple, just 4 hex bolts on the sliders, and it just lifted right out, which I think is going to make it a lot easier to work on. Now what I've done is I have bought a leather renovation kit from Woolies, which includes a leather cleaner, some black leather renovator, some sealing paste, a nice soft cloth, and some instructions. Now before I make a start on the seat, one of the things that I do want to have a look at on this passenger side is the head restraint. On the driver's side, it lifts up and down, slides up and down, and I normally have it in the further up position. This one seems to be fixed solid, so I'm kind of hoping now I'm going to remove this back panel, which is held on by 4 screws, 2 I've already removed. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get access in here and find out why it's not moving. So removing the back actually hasn't revealed anything at all. We've just got this foam, which is probably creating the sort of cushion of the seat. We've got a metal frame all the way around, which the back clips into, and then the sides screw into. So it's not really helping me with anything here. Generally, the foam looks all right. I guess
if I was going to do a full renovation, I'd probably unpick all of the leather and maybe have a look at the foam. But for now, I find the seat's quite comfortable. I've done a lot of long journeys in these, and yeah, I don't think it warrants anything more than just giving that leather a nice refresh. I am still not having a great deal of luck with this. Now, looking online, it shows that the headrests have got 2 bars that run down within the metal framework here, and they are secured in place by a clip here and here. Now, they're giving measurements down 2.5 inches down, 1.5 in, and I should be able to press in there, and that will release it enough to be able to remove the headrest. Now, I couldn't find it in here by pushing that, and I was a bit worried about damaging the leather, so I've unclipped it here, and I could get my hand up and inside, and the foam that's in here has got a slot in it all the way along, and inside there is this clip, right? And that then the bar sits in there, and it just holds it, and it just opens. It's a spring clip, and it just opens and closes around the notches in the headrest, so you can have it all the way down on the other 2 settings. But by removing it or opening it, it should then release the headrest altogether. Now, there was one that side, there isn't one that side. Pushing this didn't do anything, so I've actually unclipped this one altogether, but still this is not moving either side, not in even a millimetre. So I'm going to keep dropping some WD-40 in there over the next few days. Hopefully that might release it. We might have just a little bit more luck. So I've had just no luck with that passenger seat. That headrest is just not shifting. I've put silicone spray in there. I've put WD-40, I think I've even tried some oil as well over the last couple of weeks, and it's just not shifting. So if you've got any ideas, please do let me know. Meanwhile, let's crack on with this driver's side. I know the headrest is fine on that, so let's get this out and see how we get on. So now we've got the seat out, the first stage is to clean. Now, as part of the kit, you do get a water-based cleaner, so I've got to make sure every single area is completely clean. And if I've got a particularly smooth area, I could use some wire wool on it as well, which would actually give the colour renovator a key to bond to. Once you've cleaned it all, thorough clean with clean water, just to make sure you've got all of the product off of it before you move on to the next stage. Now, this cleaner also is supposed to soften and feed the leather whilst it's cleaning it as well. So I'm just using some wire wool very lightly just to give a key to the surface, and I'm also using a brush just to get it into the details and the joins. Now, the eagle-eyed of you will have noticed that the design of these seats is not period correct for this 79 car. In fact, this car would have left the factory with a tan interior with a much simpler design. It would either been all one colour or with a contrasting stripe down the middle. However, in March '83, the interior was recolonised in black, and by April '90, the seats had been recovered in new black leather, presumably into this newer pattern to make the car look slightly newer than it is. And I'm kind of glad they have, because I think I actually prefer this to the earlier pattern. Look at that. Ugh, it's grim. So looking at the runners under here, there's a lot of filth under here, a lot of sort of dried grease and fluff and what have you. So I might as well get in there and give those runners a good clean. Okay, so that's looking nice and clean now. I think I've done a thorough job, especially of the rinsing off. So I'm going to leave that to dry now, and probably overnight, and then we'll have a look at the next stage. Now, the next stage is the colour renovation. Now, this black liquid contains 5 resins, micronized pigments, and water emulsified cellulose lacquer, if that means anything to you. Now, the instructions say to pour a small quantity into a saucer, but I'm using a takeaway container, which is kind of handy, and apply lightly with a soft cloth. They do say to rub well into the cracks and the crevices, and so want to take your time, just make sure that you've got a full coat here. You need to allow at least 30 minutes for drying time, and then applying a second coat, which just levels off. So the last stage now is the sealing paste. So just a light wipe over with a soft cloth, and then we are done. So although this may not look like a new seat, it is so much better than it was before. I am really, really pleased with the way this has come out. And the back panel in place with some new cup washers and screws just finish it off. Now, the seat is back in the car and it looks and feels absolutely fabulous. I am really pleased with the result of this. Now, I have still got the issue with the passenger seat headrest, so if you've got any ideas on what I can do to release it, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get that seat looking like this one. Now, obviously this video has jumped around a little bit, starting off with the exhaust blowing and then moving on to freshening up the leather interior. But such is the life of a classic car owner. Now I have got the gaskets and some paint for the exhaust, so I think it's going to be a winter job. Drop that back box, give it a nice refresh, and try and resolve that blowing manifold. Car's running fine at the moment. It's a little bit noisier than normal, but I can live with that for a few months. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, but until next time, cheerio.